Hello, techies, and welcome back to Queen's Wish 2. My name's Viola. If you like what you see, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help the channel. So I am headed up to the High Litha in an attempt to open up some possibility of getting some quicksilver. Or I think it's still labeled as quicksilver. We'll see. Valley opens up into a high plain, a broad stretch of wind-swept scrubland high up in the mountains of the Rocage. The wind is bitter cold, and you can see wide patches of snow higher up. The trees are hardy evergreens, sorry, and edible plants and game are few and far between. You have entered the High Litha, one of the Rose Four provinces. It is large in land but low in population, a cold and austere land for a cold and austere people. This will not be a comfortable visit. Your orders were clear. Contact and judge their governor, find their Rasa, and hear his petition. It's sort of hard to concentrate on all that. Right now, you just want a place to get warm. There's a large encampment and guard post at the entrance to the High Litha. There aren't a lot of guards, though. Makes sense. There isn't much up here to raid. The Lithians here welcome you and motion for you to sit. You are provided with tea and coarse bread. They are quiet and reserved folk. They don't talk a lot. There is no gossip or news of the road. Happily, they are willing to answer questions. They're here to guide and protect travelers, after all. Any threats on the road? Things are more peaceful up here in the mountains. The lower folk respect us and leave us be. We are the true keepers of the deep truth of their cash. Sorry, guys. I'd like to know more about that. We are not wise. We are only road guards. You come to see our Rasa, princess. Rasa Simharam is wise enough to speak for us. Does Haven have a fort near here? Fort Hailstone is to the west. Tell me about the High Litha. One of the Lithians speaks for them all. He shows no insignia or other signs of rank. We are a poor and simple people, scraping by in the high mountains. We wish to be left alone, but we accept our fate. That is all I need. Lithians quietly nod, satisfied they have been useful. With regret, you leave their fire and face the icy wind. Several armed Lithians are patrolling the road here. They don't want to talk, but they stand politely off to the side to let you pass. Okay, so this way to our fort. Nice little guardian group there for a little bit. You see massive, reassuring walls in the distance. Walls mean that you have found another of your fortresses. It is on the east side of the river, surrounded by mostly abandoned campsites and a few patches of struggling crops. This fort, like others you have seen, shows signs of neglect and disrepair. Many of the outbuildings have been abandoned, and the whole place needs supplies and repairs. At least the High Litha seems less chaotic and immediately rebellious than the other provinces. There are simply fewer people up here. You enter Fort Hailstone, Haven's port in the lower half of the High Litha. It is a cold, grey place, as is usual for the High Litha. The streets are mostly empty, except for your soldiers training in the cold. Your arrival creates an expected reaction. Soldiers and officials come out to take a look at you. When you look at the crumbling buildings, they see them with fresh eyes and are appalled by how far this fort has been allowed to decay. This fort is now under your control. You have access to its resources. Okay. I should have upgraded the fort first. Okay. peek around the fort. The Havenite soldier waiting in front of this hall. She has a sword and bow, heavy satchel, and light leather armor. Her armor is covered with the dirt of a long journey on the road. She must be a courier. When she sees you, she runs up to you and bows. Greetings, princess. I am messenger Leshai. Leshai? I am happy to have found you. The roads are hard, and the High Lithians do not give helpful directions. Why have you sought me? I have been sent by General Angash of Lascara. There is unwelcome but urgent news. What's the news? Rasa Elha has been... You aren't sure how to feel, but Alicia is definitely in. Remind me who... No. Rasa Elha. Isn't that the lower... I just saw her. Who else killed? I believe there was a magical explosion in her hall in Oscara. Thank you for listening. Dismissed, she bows again. Thank you, princess. I'm sorry I don't have better tidings. I will return to my duties. I just wanted to take a look around my fort. Is there anything that can't be done? I don't even... Oh boy. Main hall of Fort Hailstone is run down, typical of Fort neglected and starved of supplies. The buildings and halls are cramped and in need of a good cleaning. The grandeur that Haven uses to intimidate its vassals is entirely absent. Still, it is warm and there are beds upstairs you can use to rest. The chief is sitting in the hall, keeping warm by the fire. The few Lithians who bother to talk to Haven can come here to get petitions. None are here now. The chief of Fort Hailstone is like the fort itself, old and worn down. He's your standard failed bureaucrat of Haven. He probably made some political mistake 20 years ago and was rewarded for it with a career in the ice. You've learned to recognize the type. He stands and bows to you with a resigned, doomed air. Welcome, princess, to Fort Hailstone. I am Chief Markov, and I truly appreciate this great honor. I apologize. Apologize for what? The fort is not in good condition. We did our best with the supplies sent up by the governors of the wealthier provinces. The results are not ideal. It's fine. We've all done what we can with the resources we have. He actually smiles. You're more generous than I deserve, Princess. Thank you for being understanding. The High Litha is poor. We have little to offer, but I will help however I can. Tell me more about your situation here. It's mostly the same as it has been for all the years I've been here. This is a standard port for the far edge of our empire. We are poor and ever under threat. We keep the walls up and our soldiers fed. This has always been enough. It may still be, though there have been some disruptions. Why are all of our forts so neglected? I can't speak for the other governors. I don't know what their forts are like. In the High Litha, we are reliant on the supplies and materials the lower governors send. They send little. Why? Well, you should meet the governors, Ato and Yvette. Once you learn about them, their decisions make more sense. Unfortunately, I have met them. How long have you been here? I've served Haven for 25 years. 20 of them have been here. Spares you from sad tales about his career. In 5 years I retire with my soldier's pension. I want to feel the warmth of the sun before I die. There have been some disruptions. The High Litha is a land of ghosts. Normally that is a bit of poetry. Lately it's been more literal. The tombs and crypts of the mountains have had more dead walking than usual. I don't really worry about it, though. You don't worry about it? It's a standard phenomenon in any vessel that keeps lots of bodies in a magically rich area. These disruptions will happen from time to time. The Hylithans do seem a bit upset, I think. You'll find that it's hard to read them. Chief Markov sits with you and plies you with tea and unpleasant snacks. He shares the best of his fort with you, fully aware that it is inadequate. Oh well, at least the fire is warm. I want to rebuild this fort. I want to help. I should get a fresh coat of... It should get a fresh coat of paint every generation or two. The High Litha doesn't have much wealth, though. Little wood, bad stone. Main thing mined up here is quicksilver. Valuable stuff for trading and for alchemy. Sounds intriguing. Where can I get more quicksilver? Haven owns a claim up here. It's called the Spiral Mine, a good producer of the ore that produces quicksilver. I'd love to put it at your disposal, but it's not been sending product, not for weeks. If you can set them straight, I would happily put all they make at your disposal. Spiral Mine is an odd name. Comes from a funny little nickname. There's something in the tunnel that plays with the minds of the miner, makes them walk in spirals. Where are the spiral mines? They're out in the mountains to the west, across the river, and across an icy waste. What exactly is wrong there? Honestly, I'm not sure. They sent regular shipments, then they stopped. And you haven't investigated? Of course I have. I sent messages. They say everything's fine. I send soldiers to check in. They say everything's fine. And then no quicksilver ever arrives. I'm hoping the princess will scare them into fixing their problem. Okay. Take a peek into the side rooms. Though the fort seems neglected and poorly supplied on the outside, the armory is filled to bursting with arms and armor. A lot of it is freshly made and oiled, recently sent. Someone has been quietly preparing for warfare for some time. Well... Magical workshop has been built here. It's a small room that's been crammed with all the equipment it can fit. It's all new and barely used. The captain of the garrison here is a mage. She's setting up and testing the equipment. Its eventual purpose is not clear. This young mage wears the insignia of captain on her robe. She's pale and thin, like most people of the High Litha, yet she managed to remain upbeat. Welcome, princess. It is an honor. She bows deeply. I am Captain Tanya of the Haven Military Sages, consultant to magical engineers. I hope our humble workshop meets with your approval. Tell me about your post, Captain. I don't have much to say yet. I am only a recent transfer. The air and the people are cold, but the land is beautiful, and I have a lot to do. I hope my years in this post pass quickly. How's the weather? Cold, usually dry though, and we get a share of the sun. It will be worse up in Glacier Keep. The Upper Litha is pretty miserable, or so I hear. How's the food? It's raw food. Dried venison and bitter berries. Sustains life and makes you ready for war. Also, those sour fermented road drinks. Don't ask what they're fermented in. They're just choke it down. That's my advice. Why'd you choose to come here? Wasn't my first choice, of course. I don't like suffering that much. I picked this post as part of a night and day exchange. Night and day? Oh, it's a standard practice. Young soldier takes a 5-year post somewhere lousy. In return, the next 7 years are somewhere nice and easy. 5 years of night, 7 years of day. I'm thinking of going to Sacramento next. Restless and wild, of course, but lots of good opportunities for the ambitious. Any problems lately? Rumors of problems. The rogue keep all their tombs up here. Normally, they're just quiet caves full of bones guarded by wild beasts. Lately, though, the spirits walk. Wild beasts? Any good hunting around here? Well, we do have a pest. Might make a good trophy for you. An ice drake has been hunting near her. Young, dumb, and arrogant. It's been getting closer and closer to Vassal lands. Intriguing. She grins. I thought you'd like the sound of that. It's been hunting in the unsettled wilds due north of here, between here and the river. If you can kill it, I'd pay a bounty. Then I'd send a sage to gather some dried scales. Sounds like a plan. There's a large storeroom here to keep rations for long stretch of time. High Litha can get snowed in for months. It's wise to keep lots of supplies around. All the shelves are empty. Odd. Okay, I'm not gonna go talk to them just yet. I want to find where I can sleep. New day dawns. There we go. Interesting. That's rooms. Locked. An old graying scarecrow of a man sitting alone at this table. Empty shelves loom above him. The guards keep their distance. He's not a Havenite. He is a man of the High Litha, clad in heavy, worn leather. He doesn't rise to meet you, but he does motion for you to sit with him and have tea. Ah, you're the princess. Your presence is noted. Makes a note in the sheet of parchment. I am Watcher Kremlin. You are from the High Litha. I am. Born here. Serve here. I'd like to learn more about the High Litha. You should. And you will. How am I supposed to do that? By seeing our land. By meeting us. That is the only way to bring justice. What is a watch? We High Lithans are honored for our wisdom and clear eyes. We are sent out into the world to watch. Here, I watch you. Why do the High Lithans send out watchers? High Lithans are honored. We hold the deep truths of the row. Watchers find where our people stray from our truth. Why exactly are you watching Haven? It is a troubled time. There's chaos, and Haven has remembered that we exist. I have to watch Haven. What you decide will affect us. Can I ask you about something? I watch. I know much. If I can, I will share. All the shelves here are empty. Yes, your chief and governor have made many interesting decisions recently. Need to talk to your Rasa. Oh, Rasa Surharam is usually in Jajam. If he's not there, he is sure to be in one of our other cities. That's all. I wish you a safe visit to the High Litha and a safe departure. Highest region of Rakaj, stable population, thrive in isolated villages, quiet, stoic people. Few people live in the High Litha. Almost all are miners and warriors, defending their peaks and mining quicksilver. Lands below revere the poor, harsh folk of the High Litha. These peaks are seen as the keepers of the deep truth of the row. When there are disputes among the clans of the hills and coast, the Rasa of the High Litha is often called to adjugate. More importantly, when the Rokaj is occupied by invaders, which has happened many times, the folk of the High Litha are often the ones who decide when an uprising is called for. Oh. Interesting. Mirrors start to sparkle when you pass by. The Great Uprising. In Haven year 430, the Rokaj rose up in rebellion against Haven, and it is not known why the Row decided to violate their treaty of vassalage. Whatever event, crime, or bit of resentment caused one of the Row to pick up a blade is unknown. The result, however, is burned into this land. The first killings of Havenites began in the hills of the Low Daga. Long simmering resentment against Haven's control resulted in violence spreading through the mountains like a fever. Only the gentle coast remained loyal, and that is what saved Haven. The Emperor's soldiers and workers, or the few that survived, came to the coast and helped Haven's armies safely land and begin their merciless assault. The resulting war lasted for years, but in the end, the Row were ground down by Haven's disciplined warriors and powerful magic. Since the uprising, the Row have been a peaceful, productive member of Haven's empire. Only one punishment from the time of the uprising remains. The city of the Rokaj are not allowed to have walls. And you approach the mirror. It fills with reddish, turbulent mist. You hear Sutter's voice. Viola, I had a report. You have entered the High Litha. He sounds agitated. What is wrong? My list of tasks increases by the day, and I can't possibly keep up. Feel lucky you have only one vassal state to babysit. The High Litha? You entered it? I have. I see. What do you think? Don't have a strong impression yet. You will have one soon. The air is thin and cold up there. It forges the road. Makes them hard. You will have to be very careful. The High Litha contains two great treasures. Two treasures? Quicksilver, that is what they mine and trade to be able to survive up there in that barren, icy rock. And there's a greater treasure, their approval. Their approval? The High Litha keeps all the traditions of the Rokaj. When the Row is confused, they turn to the hard people of the High Litha for judgment. They are truly independent in their minds. It is very important for you to stay on their good side. Why does Haven tolerate their independence? They are obedient to us, but their thoughts are free. Haven does not care what our vassals think of us, as long as they remain peaceful and obedient. What do I need to do? The High Litha is obedient to our laws. They hold the wilderness and independence of the Row as their deep truth, but they tell their people to tolerate us, for now. You need to make sure that doesn't change. You need to check in with our governor. I don't expect any problems there. But you also need to talk to their Rasa. That is the hardest part. You need to... What happened? Well, I have had Some news. We need to conclude this. Governor won't be a problem. Governor of the High Litha only needs to do one thing. Nothing. Make sure our woman there is doing plenty of nothing. That will keep the Rasa from growing angry. How do I deal with the Rasa? You need to convince them that they have nothing to gain from forcing Haven to crush them. Find him. Say nice thing. If he submits to you, all the row will. Conclude your business there. I need you elsewhere. When you approach the mirror, it fills with red mist. When Delia starts to talk, most people would consider her tone very calm and controlled. You know better. She only pulls out the icy tone when she's very, very angry. My sister, as I assume you have heard by now, Rasa Elha, leader of the Gentle Coast, has been assassinated. I heard. This is very bad news. Worse than that, it is an insult. A powerful official, favored and loyal to Haven, incinerated in daylight. This must be answered. First the raid, then the attack on you, now this? The row must be pacified. What do we know? This was no alley stabbing. This was a serious attack with the involvement of powerful magic. This was a hired assassin by enemies with considerable power and resources. Who fired the assassin? Completely unknown. They are probably the same ones who've been destabilizing the region, including the attack on you. We will send spies and investigators as soon as we can. Who did the killing? We're trying to find out. Unfortunately, it was probably the work of the Guild Naz, the Assassins Guild of the Rokaj. Bad news, if true. The Guild Naz usually only kill for those who don't follow the truth of the row. For them to kill one loyal to us... What effect will this have on the row? Delia's composure breaks. Who knows? Nothing good. The row are wild people, barely controllable on the best day, and this killing has made us look like fools. Utter fools. I assume you have advice. You're a sigh. You can picture her shaking her head. You have a mission. Carry it out. Leave. The violence necessary to beat down the road doesn't require you to be there. You think they will try to kill me? I think they already have. Princess, I want you to come home. It's just not possible yet. Don't do anything reckless. I'll do my best to get things under control. I trust you. You've come so far, but know your limits. The Queen's orders were very clear. Just do it quickly and safely. I must go now. Urgent briefing. Watch yourself. We're worried about you. And even more. Oh, look, Mother. When you approach the mirror, you hear your mother's voice. The Queen says, Princess, I will talk to you. We must talk. Her voice seems strange, distant, unfocused. It is strange. Probably a wavering in the enchantment of the mirror. I have had a report. You have regained control of a fourth port. I'm ready to make a report. Oh, that can wait until later. It's not important. Someone else will take care of it. Mother, are you alright? I'm fine, of course. I just was thinking how you're traveling the row alone. Not like before. When you were young, when your father was alive. All of us took a trip to the Rokaj. Diplomacy, I suppose, but also a rare vacation. Do you remember it? I remember very little, just images. Unfortunate. But not a surprise. Still, I wanted to clear row air in your lungs. You're a difficult child. I thought it would calm you. Foolish. The row never calms anyone. She lets out a long, sad sigh. It is unlike her. I wish I could help you remember that trip. So many things happened. Such as... We all went riding up into the High Litha to see the Mist Talkers. To have them see you. Your brother and sister were so small, but they rode alone. You sat on your father's lap. We rode over the snow. We came to an old crypt. There, an old mistalker woman spoke with us. What did you learn? Oh, she pretended to talk to the shades. Gave us all fortunes. Great fortunes. Good health. Standard pop. Did nothing for your father. But then she came to you and she said you were touched. Watched by the spirits. She said you would... Yes? I don't know. I don't remember now. Good work on the forts. We'll talk soon. More? You approach the mirror. It fills with the wisp of mist and agitated sparks of light. The queen speaks. My child, I've contacted you as quickly as I could. The news came to me quickly. Rasa Elha was assassinated in Lascara. She's one of our closest allies in that savage land. Her death is a loss and very worrying. I have heard. Then you must appreciate how dangerous this is. Someone was brave enough, mad enough, to kill a leader who supported Haven. This is an attack on us. Not as bad as trying to kill you and Sutter, but it demands a strong response. How do we proceed from here? We have given this thought. We must not show weakness. We have agents, investigations are happening, armies are being moved. In the meantime, continue our mission as before, hear the Ross's petitions, evaluate our governors. I will redouble my efforts to calm the Rookhouse. That is wise. Most of the wild folk still welcome the presence of Haven. Completing your mission will calm and reassure. It is the best thing you can do. Good luck, my child. It actually does. Finally. Return to normal. Oh. Okay, guys. So I think that is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell icon to keep up to date on all the videos, and remember to free the feral wildflower in you. Bye-bye!